Aloha mai kako, ano ai me ka welina a ke aloha. Want to welcome you all to our talk story here, our virtual talk story, something that we've done over the past months uh, during this pandemic time. As you, some of you out there might know, we've for many years, actually for 24 years, had an event called Twilight at Kalahui Pua'a, which had a big gathering of people. And so, in keeping with the pandemic protocols, we started doing more of a virtual version. We don't have an audience here except our camera people and sound people and small audience of
Kokua.
kokua, friends who come in and help us um, put this together. But we want to welcome you to our Eva Parker Woods cottage. I can see the beautiful Mauna Lani Auberge Hotel just very close to here. Behind us, we're here at the Eva Parker Woods cottage. We have the royal fish ponds, the lokoi'a, that many of our ali'i, our royalty of the past, would enjoy the mullet and the ava and many of the products of the fish pond over the many centuries, the past 800 years. So we're here to talk story, to kanikapila, to play music. We have some dear friends who came to join us, and we want to just before we start into our little talk story, as we say in Hawaii, we're going to do a little welcome, a little traditional Hawaiian welcome. It's a type of oli, as we call it, oli aloha. It's a welcome chant. And to welcome you all here to join us wherever you may be. O
O
nau
nau
nai
nei te
tahala
hala
me
me te hale hua.
talehua. He
He
halele
halele
hua
hua
no
no
ia
ia
nakano
nakanoe.
e. O
O
ka
ta
uno
uno
ia
ia
e
e
no
no
i
i
nei
nei
e
e
li a
ali
nei
e
hoi.
hoi.
O
O
tahiti
Tahiti
mai.
mai.
Ahiti
Ahiti
mai
mai
no
no
o kou.
oko.
Ahiti
Ahiti
puno
puno
me
me
ke
ke
aloha.
aloha.
Aloha
Aloha
e.
e.
Aloha
Aloha
e.
e. Aloha
Aloha e.
e.
And so, welcome to our talk story time. You know, this is, we are now in the month of May, and for those of you who are not familiar with our customs and traditions of Hawaii, May Day is a time of celebration for us. It's a time where everybody wears a lei. And so we call May Day is Lei Day in Hawaii. And many years ago, back in 1928, May 1st of 1928, a poet from Oklahoma, Don Blanding, came to the islands inspired by a movie called The Bird of Paradise, fell in love with the islands, and, noticed people giving leis to each other and understood the symbol of lei giving as a tangible expression of one's aloha to another. And so he and one of the newspaper columnists, I believe from the Star Bulletin newspaper in Honolulu, uh, Grace Tower Warren, I think was her name, uh, created this May Day, Lei Day in Hawaii, which started on May 1st, 1928. And so every year in May, we celebrate this time. And so at the hotel, we had our May Day program, and we had our artisans
Artisans
and our
gathered
feather lei makers,
and
our
now
flower lei makers,
our lauhala
our lauhala
weavers and hula
weavers.
lauhala.
It was a beautiful day. We did music and hula.
Yes,
and we had our employees. They
Lei
had a lei contest. Yeah.
yes.
So
Beautiful leis that
yes,
were gathered. And even
yes.
Mele was here for Launiu.
To
Lana
weave coconut
Launiu.
fronds,
Yes.
right? So we have two friends that were kind enough to join us here on our talk story. We have Ho'opono Wong here,
Hello, my kako.
and we also have Matt Hanato,
Aloha.
who came to join us as well. And of course, in the tradition of lei giving, my wife Anna will bestow the lei mele, which is a very special lei, symbolic of the piko of the umbilical cord. And it was believed that when the lei was entwined, as she did for Ho'opono, that that spiritual connection will always be there. And so, leis are made up of all Miley lays. I have a Kauna Oa lei, this beautiful golden lei that I'm wearing. I'm also wearing a Miley lei and a very fragrant pikake or jasmine lei as well. And so we want to thank both Ho'opono and Matt for coming to join us here on the Lanai, the porch of the Eva Parker Woods cottage. And we're just going to kani kapila, just jam, just talk story. But I thought it might maybe be appropriate to start out with this song that talks about May Day,
Hiki no.
Lady in Hawaii.
Hiki no.
And we're just going to kani kapila, just jam. So if you're listening back there, wherever you are, and you know the song, please join in with us. May Day is Lady in Hawaii. Garlands of flowers everywhere. All of the colors of the rainbow. Maidens with blossoms in their hair. Garlands that mean we should be happy. Throwing aside our load of cares. Oh, May Day is Lady in Hawaii. Lay Day is happy day out here. Lay Day is happy day out here. Lay Day is happy day out here. Mahalo, guys. Oh, thank you.
Oh, that was
Mahalo,
beautiful.
Anna.
Mahalo i ka hula.
Thank you for that beautiful, beautiful hula.
Nahi wale ke lohe ya oko ke kanikapila
Ai.
himeni ana, mele ana.
Yes.
Mahalo
Oh, we
nui.
want to mahalo ya olua no ko kipa ana mai ya mako nei. Make ia hale ho ike o Eva Parker. Make ia aina ke ia ili kupono o Kalahui Poa. O Waimea, but ma ke ia moku o Kohala. So we're just thanking
Thank you.
both of these wonderful musicians for coming to visit us here at this beautiful Eva Parker Woods cottage, which is within this land of Kalahui Pua, which is a land division within a larger land division, or what we would call an Okana, of Waimea, but within the district of Kohala. So welcome to both of you.
Mahalo i ke kona ana mai a maua.
Ai.
Nā maua ka hano ani ka haoli e noho me olua i neli i mua o ke kai me ka hulali o kalama ma ke kai.
Ai.
A ohe anaina na kanaka a lea hiki ke himeni no na ia.
Ai. I mean, manu kikahi.
Aye.
Oh,
So we're all just so entranced to be here with all of you as you enjoy and see the beautiful vista of the ocean as it sparkles in the sunlight. No audience except for the birds and the fishes.
Yes.
Well, you know, we're so fortunate that both of you came here, and so we want to talk about the kuleana that you have, the work that you do, and what brought you to what you're doing now, and what inspired you. And first of all, perhaps where you actually grew up and your family background.
Hiki no. Ano leila uhanau ia au ma Oahu. I was born on Oahu and raised in Kalihi Valley, in the cool up there.
Ah,
Kaua po'olipilipi hoi. And throughout the years, I never really played too much music. My grandma would offer ho'opaipai
yeah.
me to do it, but I wouldn't all the way until my later years. Like I'm in my 20s, then I would start to do it as a way to just comfort her at times. Eventually, as time went on, I ended up going to the university to learn Olelo Hawaii
Oh,
and speak to understand the songs that I would sing
yes.
for my grandma. And from then, I got into education, and I would teach Hawaiian music
Yeah.
to the keikis at a lot of the Hawaiian immersion schools and the charter schools. There was a lo'i that I worked up in He'ia Valley
Oh,
and would
okay.
have program down there. And that would be sort of thing that I would do
Yeah,
is
yeah.
play the music. When we moved, my ohana, we moved here just coming up on 3 years ago, right before COVID.
Oh,
And I would do the same hana here down in Kona, Waimea, Hilo as well. And eventually I thought I met a few people, not one of them, being one of them, that kind of encouraged me to see how far I could take music as what would you call it? I don't want to say a career, but more so.
As a recording artist,
Yes,
maybe?
yes. Push my boundaries of music as far as it could go, and just to see where it's at, knowing that I could always go back and teach and still be involved with the community to play Hawaiian music and teach music to the kids of communities. Right.
Oh,
wonderful.
okay.
Well, that's great. Now, your family lineage, I know your last name is Wong, but like that, your grandmother, your tutu, what?
So my grandma, she comes from the Lani line.
Oh, okay.
Yes, she was born and raised in Kekaha, Kauai.
Oh,
and then they moved to Oahu. So my grandfather is Wong. He's the pake.
yeah, he's the pake.
Yeah.
It's a
The Chinese
wonderful
side.
combination,
Yeah.
Pake and Hawaii.
Yes, yes. We're products of that. Half Hawaii, half pake. Oh, great. Well, wonderful. And so, yeah. So you teach music now. You help to inspire the younger generation.
For the past 8 months, I haven't been. I just been focusing on a solo career on itself.
Uh-huh.
But when people called for kukua and stuff, that's when I would I
Yes.
still go and help, and that door is still open all the
Yes.
time.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
as for a career track right now, it's
Yeah.
focusing on music.
Yes. Great. And I understand that you're actually working on a recording as well. Yeah.
It's polele.
Yeah. Yeah. Good, good. So maybe we can do a song, perhaps your favorite, or maybe one that you're planning to record.
Maybe we'll start. We'll go warm up the pu'u maybe with this song first.
Okay, okay. Sounds good.
I was trying to think of a song that may have fit more Kohala side, but we're sitting over here, and I had the privilege to come down and actually learn how to throw net and fish out here with a couple of times with Uncle. So, and a lot of the fish of the schools that we'll see is the manini out here. And so maybe I figure we start with maybe that song.
Okay.
Aloha ka manini me ka pōpolo. Hei ano hoi a I ka lau papa. Aloha koliha liha a pohi uala ka ohiku. Haina ia mai ana ka puana aloha ka mani me ka popolo Haina ia mai ana ka puana aloha ka mani me ka popolo
Nahi, nahi,
I could
wale.
almost see the manini fish out there dancing in the waves.
Oh, next time I go Himeni and then you go stand out there with your
And with
net.
the-
Ah, yeah.
and there you go. Yep. I tell you, there's so many great fish and food in the sea right out here. And yeah, over the years, after Pauhana work over here, just grab the upena, grab the net, walk a little bit, couple throws, and
Yeah,
ulava.
po'ole,
Enough.
upene. Yeah.
Enough for take home to eat. So, mahalo for that.
Oh, yeah.
Lele.
No,
Yeah.
no.
Yeah, and so Matt, I want to thank you again for the beautiful music that you played and your wife Megan danced just the other day for as we celebrated May Day at the Mauna Lani, and
Yeah, no problem.
Yeah.
Mahalo for having us.
yeah,
It's all fun for us. Yeah.
yeah. Well, and you also have a beautiful voice. Wonderful musician, and during
Mahalo.
the time of the pandemic, when our grandson Aiden was visiting our opuna, and he was online, and I didn't know who was the kumu, the ukulele instructor, and
Until I
to
seen
find
you
out it was
pass
you.
in the video
Yeah.
in the computer. I was like, hey, uncle.
So you were so grateful, and I know Aiden that kind of gave him a nice
Nudge and then-
nudge
yeah.
to get into playing ukulele and music. So mahalo for doing that.
Yeah, mahalo you.
Yeah.
That is my passion. So later on in life, I'll go back to the school.
Yeah. Now,
I
how
would love
did
to
you
do that.
get started into music? And born and raised in Kona?
Yeah, born and raised Kona. I guess I owe all my music to my mom's side of the family. My grandma and my uncles, the Menguels, Kipapas, they all just play, so just naturally
Mm-hmm.
just picked it up. Yeah. My uncle told me the instrument no motit na kung bite, strum it. So that's how I learned. Yeah.
Oh, well, that's
I've
great.
never heard that expression. That's really cute.
Well, there's more to that story, but I'm gonna lock my lips.
But yeah, it's wonderful that both of you could come in and share your musical talents, and we're just gonna kind of while we're here and in this short time that we're here, just play music, talk story, and maybe do a hula or so. But yeah, we'll just go with the flow. Let's go with the flow, and any song that might come to mind that you might want to share, you know, share maybe about that song that you're gonna do, and then we'll go into the song. Just let me know the key.
Yeah, so this mele that I'm working on in the studio right now actually was composed by our good friend, Kona native Bradshaw Ellis. And unfortunately, he's not with us anymore today, but he's with us at every show or every
show.
time we play music. But before he returned home, he actually gave me a song and some lyrics. And he said, "Hey, I remember I told you I have a song that I think you'd be good to sing." He said, "Oh, here's the lyrics." And I said, "Oh, mahalo." So he gave it to me, and unfortunately, that's when he returned home. So we worked on it. We worked on it to come up with the best melody that would suit, try to capture his feelings, what he was thinking at the time, and with the help of Matt and another good friend, Ali'i, Kianaina,
yeah.
Oh,
Yes.
Kianaina,
they
ay.
helped to elaborate on, what was happening at that time that mele was written.
Mm.
So we came up with this melody, and every time we sing it, he may not be sitting right next to us physically, but his mele and his music will forever be with us. And I'm just so honored to have been. I don't want to use the word chosen, but what is the word?
Blessed
Blessed.
with receiving
Blessed
that,
to,
song.
Take his words and bring it to life, and for it to live on. So it goes a little something like this. So there's gonna be it's gonna be C, but there's gonna be E7 and A minor.
Okay.
It's
I'll
easy.
follow.
Au he a oe, he ku aloha me oe ka anoi. He tu umanu iwi, I ko leo I loko ku upu vai. I ko leo I loko ku upu vai. Au he a oe, e ku aloha me oe ka anoi. E tu umanu iwi, I ko leo I loko ku upu vai. I ko leo I loko ku upu vai. E ho I mai no, e hele mai oe, e pane mai au, I kou aloha, I kou kanilea e ho'opuni he ka honua. Ka home au ka lehua, I ka ua no e make make, I ko leo Lani. Kali nei, au ia oe e lele ho'i mai e ru'u manu. Ka lehua kua nea mele mele, maluna o ke kumu o hi'a, ho'i mai ka ua e pili. E ho'i mai no, e hele mai oe, e pane mai au, I kou aloha. Puana o ka manu lele ka iwi, me oe ka anoi, e ku umanu iwi, I ko leo I loko ku upu vai. Ku upu vai. Song entitled Ku'umanu Iwi na Bradshaw Ellis.
Beautiful song.
Mahalo, mahalo.
Oh,
Wanani,
nahe, nahe,
wanani,
vale.
no. Wanani, no. Yeah. Mahalo Bradshaw for that
Oh, yeah,
beautiful
yeah.
song. Yeah. Great. Is that a song that you're
That is the
planning to
song that
use
we're
on the
currently
recording?
working on right now. Yes. Yes.
Great. Now, who else is on the recording with you?
Well, actually, right now we're working with Jazz down in Kona to do it. There's a few other people that's that is playing some of the instruments. We got Nui Kiana Aina,
Yeah.
Pili Kaipupua, Matt.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah.
Just a collaboration.
yes.
Oh,
Yeah.
good.
In honor of Bradshaw.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've mentioned to them before that Oahu is where I learned how to play music. Big Island kind of showed me how to enjoy it, how to
Mm.
lay
Yeah.
back a little bit more into it. But it was truly Bradshaw that taught me how to feel it.
Mm.
You know, just sitting by him every gig and stuff. It was just a different feeling. So
Now, Bradshaw was with the group Hawaiian. Was he with that group? Or?
No, his first group that we know of that he was with was Pu'uvai.
Oh.
Many years ago.
satin shoes.
Oh.
Yeah, and he played with Ali'i Kenaina too. So the couple times he was down here, he was here too.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh.
Yeah, he was a lead guitarist in
Yeah.
that band. Amongst other things, Bradshaw was loved by everyone
Yeah.
because he loved everyone.
Yeah. Well, a sad loss to our music world.
Yeah,
And,
absolutely.
But he lives on in his music, in his songs. yeah?
Definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah. Matt, is there any song that you'd like to share with us?
No, I came to support Ho'opono. And
Oh, I know you have a beautiful Leo Ki'e as well.
I guess I can play one, but I like trade you. I like your ukulele, uncle. Yeah.
Okay, there you go. We'll swap. Oops. Okay, got it. Thank you. Good stretch. Okay, got it.
I don't know what I'm gonna play, but
Whatever your heart's desire may be.
all right. Okay, G. E ku'upili aloha ku'ule kau po'ohiwi Ona i ka ihu lohea i ka maka liliko e ka ua kilihu hune kili pohe i ke kane lehua e kupili aloha kule kau pohivi ona huna i ka ihu no hea i ka maka liliko i ka ua kili hune kili pohe i ke kane lehua velo ke aloha i ka ono ohi kau e ka hilei ho e no i ku upili aloha kule kau pohivi o nauna i ka ihu no hea i ka maka liliko i ka ua kili hune kili pohe i ke kane lehua
And that's why he's my idol.
No.
Oh, thank you. Okay, got him.
Yeah.
Oh, that was Uiloa. Uimaulino. Thank you, Matt.
Mahalo.
Wow. Yeah. You know, a lot of songs I've got to learn, over the many years and playing with, when I was, of course, much younger, traveling around the world, playing with all the musicians at that time. And, the songs were a lot of the old songs, mostly the old songs, both Hawaiian, hapahole, Hawaiian English songs as well. So, yeah. So, with the new generation, there's a lot of new music, but beautiful music. Yeah.
Yeah, no, yeah.
It's good that you folks are keeping that going. Yeah. Yeah. Well, I guess, the through this recording that you're working on, and songs that, like the one that Bradshaw wrote and other songs. Yeah, this would be a great inspiration for a lot of up and coming musicians. And, we have so much talent here in the islands. The kids, they pick up an instrument and not before too long, they're jamming and playing. And, yeah, it's great.
And sometimes they don't even know it, or we don't even know it until,
Hmm.
oh, I want to
Yeah.
try it, I want to see that. And then, at the end of the day, they're playing a song with us. It's like,
Yeah, yeah. There's so many talent here, and wherever you travel throughout the islands, especially the country areas, kids are kind of hila, yeah, a little shy, but once they get, more familiar with you, and they bring out the instruments and start singing and stuff, and boy, I'm really amazed at the pool of talent that we have here in the islands. Yeah.
yes, definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
for
yeah.
sure it's a lot different. But
Mhm.
like me and you was talking the other day, Uncle. Not much of the keiki or not much younger generations is coming up playing Hawaiian music.
Mhm.
Yeah, they all like play reggae kind stuff or island
Oh.
kind stuff music, and that's all good too. Music
Yeah. Yeah.
is good all around, but gotta encourage these young guys to stick to the roots, or
Yeah.
at least acknowledge the roots.
Yeah.
At least have it there.
Yeah.
Well, they can endeavor into different genres, but it's good to have a multiplicity of genres that they can excel in.
Most
Yeah.
definitely.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And I'm a personal fan. I like when especially if a lot of them, they won't really play so much shalang-alang stuff, but they gravitate towards a lot of the Hawaiian music that has been written and recorded now that is in other type of genre of music, such as reggae. There's some country ones. Want to say some R&B style stuff that people that is, I want to say, more proficient in Hawaiian, and they kind of use their lyrics through a Hawaiian thought with that kind of melody, and it comes out nice. And a lot of kids gravitate to that, and I think that's good because at least the olelo is still there, and at least the thought process and how that song was written is still there. You know, if it was my choice, I'd have them all start like this
Yeah.
first.
Yeah,
You know?
we're dinosaurs, you know, where we love
No.
the hapahaole tunes and
Yes.
there was a Hawaii Calls program,
Hawaii
the radio
Calls.
program, you know, and a
Yeah.
lot of the songs that were popularized during those days when your form of entertainment was either live or listening to the radio.
I'd like to play one old tune for you guys. I look at Uncle, he sit here so no hair with his kahikole.
Oh, yes,
you know,
yes.
You know,
Right.
you
Okay, so-
yeah.
So dressed up in her dress and her papale, the lei hulu. So this song was actually, it's an old song written in the early 1900s, I want to say, by a man named Charles E. King. And he wrote this song speaking of when you go out, you have to present yourself well. Well, he doesn't say that in a song. It basically says, when you go out and you're going fishing, your bait and your hook is nothing without the bait. So in general, if you think about it, if you're gonna go out fishing,
Yeah.
you want to dress well, you want to smell nice, you know, to
Yes.
get the attraction
Yes.
first. So here's the song entitled Uhe Uhene.
And I'm sure the fish he was looking for is a kumu fish, right?
We'll see. Oh, hihi oi ke ike olu. No hoi oi ke lilo ya oe. A he mea nui, nā ka makua I mili mili. Pulama ia, ua I ia, ua maka mai a. Ole no he vai. Lailo I la vai ai. O ka mana mea ka mea nui. Ai e he na hoi ka makau. Uhe uhene la. Kani e ko waka. Uhe uhene la. Oh, hihi oi ke ike olu. No hoi oi ke lilo ya oe. A he mea nui. Nā ka makua I mili mili. Pulama ia. Ua I ia. Ua maka mai a. Ole no he vai. Lailo I la vai ai. O ka mana o ka mea nui. O I hin hoi ka makau. Uhene la. Kani e ko waka. Uhene la. Song entitled Uhene for you two.
I've not heard that for a long time. That is one of
Are you
those
pulling
the
them
old
out of the
Hawaiian
archives?
songs. Wow. And Charles King wrote that.
Charles King.
Wow. Ooh. He wrote many, many, many beautiful songs, and but I didn't realize he wrote that song.
Yes.
Ohene.
That's a lively one.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah, there's something about the songs of those times, yeah.
Well, he and his colleagues in music, like Helen Deshay Beamer, the music in which and the poetry in which they wrote composed their songs.
Right. It took me a long time to come around to want to play those ones because it sounds nice on the radio, but sometimes some of the aunties or the kupunas, if I sing it, it's like, why are you singing that song over here? That's not right for singing on this kind of occasion. Like, sorry.
Oh,
Oh, he's talking about the beautiful flower. And he's
Yeah.
like, ole.
Yeah.
Okay. So,
It's
Oh.
some Kolohe stuff, no?
yeah, sometimes the Kolohe stuff is like, you don't sing that song for a wedding. Oh, sorry.
Oops.
well, maybe after the wedding.
yeah. Pauhana time,
Yeah. Oh gosh.
And that's why I only sing English songs in front of local peoples.
Well, so many of the times, though, when you'd be singing, the kupuna, the elders, the aunties, the uncles, they would be the ones that would be kind of snickering,
Yeah.
you know, on the side because they knew the kauna.
Yeah.
They knew the hidden meanings in those songs. And so, you know, the younger ones might not, but they did. Or they might even know who that song was referring to.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Yeah.
and we think that we're Kolohe, we're rascal, but boy, you know, those old timers, boy, sometimes I think they're even more Kolohe than us, more rascal.
I tell you this.
Oh.
One time we was I forget we was visiting Honolulu and we started singing Ahulili.
Oh.
And yeah,
Oh, okay, another song. Yes.
beautiful kupuna hula dancers came up and I tell you, the movements was Kolohe.
Yeah.
The eyes, yeah. Especially on that song, it's their hands may be in one spot, but their eyes are telling you
She
another.
even make her way to my wahine and she make like that to her.
Oh,
And then give me the eye like,
See, those aunties
yeah,
Kolohe.
le'a.
But in a good way, in a fun way, right?
Yeah.
Oh, but I think that's the fun about, you know, the Hawaiian music and the hula. You know, we just had, you know, the Merry Monarch recently, you know, which really exhibits, you know, from the very ancient Kahiko hula dances to that of the more freestyle Awana, you know, and you know, every halau was good. Everyone was really a winner. And we had the opportunity to watch it live there and in Hilo and just mesmerized, you know, and really happy that you know that you know that generation and many of them were very young, you know, are you know into this and continuing, you know, that you know the ancient hula as well as that of the more modern, you know, Awana freestyle. So you know, it's I think it's you know that a time that you know a lot of you know it's so nice that things are coming back after this COVID, after this pandemic. We hope and pray that it will stay good and that we can continue these gatherings and you know sharing you know our music and our stories and the values behind that and not sharing anything that's not good, you know, that may cause one to get ill or sick, but you know things that will perpetuate and continue our beautiful Hawaiian heritage.
Most
Yeah.
definitely.
Yeah.
It was really wonderful too as we were there at the Merry Monarch to see some old friends and actually teachers like Kumu, you know, like Larry Kimura. We had to kind of chuckle, you know, in the news. They were interviewing him and they were referring to him as the grandfather of the Hawaiian Renaissance, and we're like, or Hawaiian language. And we're like, ooh, if they're calling him the grandfather, what are they calling us?
We're right there. We're right up there. Almost right up there with him. So
We were his guinea pigs in college, and he was just a
Oh,
few
yeah?
years older than us.
we
Yeah.
were his first
Students.
Haumana, his
Yeah.
first students. So
Okay.
yeah,
So
at
you
the
guys was in there
university.
the time with Uncle Ainsley folks and stuff.
Oh,
like
oh
that?
yeah.
Oh yes,
I-
yes.
I got to. I ran into him and got to talk story with him down in Hilo too when he was
Yeah.
on last week.
Yeah.
Well, we were
He
the
was
first
there.
of
He was
the.
there at the Merry Monarch also.
Yeah.
He was judging, in fact, I think.
Yes, he was one
Yes.
of the judges, and we recorded
Yeah.
many years ago.
It was a Kaleo Hawaii
Kaleo Hawaii.
Ainsley
program.
and Kalena Silva,
And there was
Aaron Mahi, my brother Alan, Akaka,
Lulena Nicholas, Auntie
Lulena,
Nina Kiliiva Hamana,
yeah, and
Honani Apoleona,
Apoleona,
Honani
yeah.
Bernardino.
Yeah, really a great group, and we were all at the earliest beginnings of the Hawaiian Studies program.
Before it was even known as Hawaiian Studies.
Yeah, yeah. So
Yeah, I had the opportunity to actually. I was doing a project when I was in college. I was under Keawe Lopes over at UH, and so one of the projects I had to do is transcribe or transcribe. When you listen to something
Transcribe,
and
yeah.
transcribe the whole thing, even though it had the lyrics on top of the album, or we'd pull it out, transcribe the whole song. So I got to listen to that thing in depth at every line, and I just look at it. And the olelo is like, wow, this is another time, man.
Yes, yes, and one of the wonderful things that Larry did was he composed more in the way, in the vernacular and poetry of our kupuna, much like Kipa Mali or Puakia Nogomeyer. They've really captured the essence of our kupuna and how, they wouldn't just say, oh, that's a, he wahine ui kela. It says, oh, he pu ui vale ke holo mamua u. They would say it that way. It's like, oh, what a lovely blossom that's processing before me, as opposed to, hey, that's one hot chick, yeah. That's really what
Makes
they
you
did.
wonder, was there ever a mountain or a flower in any of those songs?
Well,
Yeah.
that's what it sounded like,
Yeah.
but really it was
Yeah.
another that
Yeah.
was of course we see the count of the hidden meaning behind that mountain or that flower that blossom or that lay.
Or that ship.
Yes.
That ship.
Oh yeah.
The pilot.
Yes, yes. So we go back to the Kolohe.
Mauna
you
Loa,
know,
you're
of
talking about the
being
mountain or the ship or
rascal
the...
and,
Yes. Kolohe
The
tai.
single mast schooner.
yes, yeah. I know we could go just
Yeah.
into the count of songs and do it, but of course we would be maybe to a different audience, an
Right,
audience of
definitely.
elders and after the young children are asleep.
No, but
Yeah.
all beautiful. Just beautiful, yeah.
Yeah, but that's the beauty of the Hawaiian music and the poetry and the imagery it creates.
That's why I love those Helen Deshae Beamer songs, because with those songs, as you listen to the lyrics, it really paints a picture in your mind of sitting on the shoreline, looking out and seeing the crest of a wave rise up over the reef, and in the face of that wave, you see the fish, and you feel that salt breeze so gentle on your skin, and speaking of the flowers and the trees that are on the shoreline, and maybe even the ponds that are there, the bathing pools.
You know what I really appreciate about the old poetry or the old style of writing is that it actually holds I'm trying to think of the word, I don't want, maybe authority in when I used to do research and stuff, I could actually use those songs as a history book and as resources to say, hey, this happened at that time and stuff. You know what I mean? It
Yes.
actually held, I don't know if the word is authority, but it had that kind of mana where I could actually use it as a resource that is liable. That, hey, this so-and-so wrote here in this song because it happened that time, so this tells us this. So that's what I appreciate about those songs that was written at that time. It's not only it has to be a printed textbook that we have to look up through, or the newspaper and stuff like that too.
It kind of reminds me too of some of the what we call myths and legends. And when you think about Pele and Poliahu, and here, one's domain on Mauna Kea and the other's on Pele and Kilauea at Mauna Loa. And as you hear about their battle, over maybe some love interest, and then one showing her fiery self, an eruptive personality, sending out a lava flow to destroy the lands, and Poliahu bringing down, sending forth the snows and from above to quench those fires and the lava flows. And you hear about those activities in certain places on the island, and then you think about where it occurred, and then years later, like when we were at Laupuhoihoi, and we were talking about that battle between the two of them. And then there was a friend that was there, Kiawe, um, that he said, oh, well, you know, as you look at the geology of this land at Laupahoehoe, it is made up of this type of rock and stone, and it's overlaid by this type, and that is typical of this mountain, Mauna, and this of, and so, you know, geologically, it confirms what these stories or myths and legends of those deities spoke of, you know, and so it's, like you said, it gives authority and validation.
That's the word I was looking for.
Yeah.
Validation.
Validation to those stories and those accounts is actually being historic. Yeah.
Well, you know, I know our time is just coming to the end of our talk story, and but perhaps maybe we can do one more song. You know, that before we say aloha to everyone, and I know even after we, you know, have to shut down the cameras, we'll kind of still continue throughout the evening. There's talking story and maybe over a few drinks. And
a favorite libation.
Yes.
That's when the music's going to get good, folks.
That's when the real music comes on.
All right. I think, you know, we're going to do this one more song. It's a song that I recorded a few years ago. It actually was written by Anakala Liko Martin. And it was back in the 70s, right before he was going to come up to Puhonu or Honaunau. He ran into Don Ho down in Waikiki somewhere. And Don Ho said, hey, I'd like you write me one song. He said, about what? He's like, Unity of Hawaii. So he's like, I'm about to jump on the plane. I'm going home now. And he said, well, if you can, get me that song. So 4 hours later, Uncle Liko walked into the dressing room at Waikiki, Don Ho's dressing room. And
Polynesian Palace on Lure Street.
and he played him the song, All Hawaii Stands Together. Now, Uncle, he was happy with how it went, but he said, you know, for years I thought that it should be sung and done in Olelo Makuahine, Olelo Hawaii. So when the opportunity presented himself, he got to get together with Auntie Pilahi Paki, who ended up translating it more in a Hawaiian perspective. So when you kind of put the two together, it's not directly a direct translation, but
it's better.
It's better. So I ran into Uncle in downtown one day, and I said, "Hey, I came across your song on YouTube, and I'd like to rearrange it to do this. I'm working with some kids, and I want to teach it to them for their Ho'omau show, for the Hawaiian Immersion fundraiser." And he said, "Oh yeah, definitely." So I got to work with him, and we did the song, and then a couple of years later, I got to record it, and so it goes a little like this. Naue mako makahonua Ivale a malihini no Lohe mako na Leo oli Na leo mo olelo pana Ike maka mako ikanani He ha maolo a ko leo aloha ina Hawaii iloa kulike kako Kupa'a me ka lo kahie Kukalame ka vivo ole Honi pa'a kako Alana kila na kini e ola na kini I loko na hale a pohaku Au ia na hana hie O ai pipi I o wawa uli uli O ai pi oe Nā pupu panoa o ka ho'olawe Ke awa o ka hana Ke one kani o no hili Hano hano o hanale Hawaii I loa Kuli ke kako Kupa'a me ka lokahie Kukala me ka vivo ole Oni pa'a kako Alana kila Na kini e ola na kini I loko ka lua pele Lohe mako I ko leo Leo aloha ana kupuna Me tutuma E kamakua mauloa e Ko leo hale a kala Pane mai ko leo aloha aina Hawaii loa kuli ke kako Hawaii loa kuli ke kako Kupa'a me ka lokahie Kukala me ka vivo ole Oni pa'a kako Alana kila Na kini e ola na kini E ola na kini E ola na kini Hawaii loa kuli ke kako, nā liko Martin.
Mahalo ho'opono. What a wonderful rendition of that
Mahalo,
song.
mahalo nui.
And we want to thank you both for joining us this afternoon here on the Lani, the porch of the Eva Parker Woods cottage, and then for sharing this moment, sharing your time, sharing your gifts, your talents of music.
Oh yeah, mahalo ia o lua.
Oh, mahalo,
Okay,
yes.
Launa ana.
Mahalo nui
O lelo
loa
ia
ia.
mamua ia puno ia ka
Yeah.
o kani a ka
Ai.
ale ina i o paahana ka ko a pao ana leila o ke ia ka
yeah.
mai ka i hiki ke launa.
Oh.
Me ke ia makai kena.
Ai, kanani o ke aina
Ilohana
me ke
no
kai
ia.
ke kahi. Yeah.
Ia sa mahalo ia o lua.
Ai,
Mahalo nui
ai.
loa ia o.
And me Matt,
Ame
ke
mea.
kahi.
Ai,
Yes.
mahalo.
You know, and it's wonderful that we're keeping the Olelo Makuahine, the Hawaiian language alive, and you know, passing it on to that next generation
Oh yeah.
to do so as well.
Especially as we o'o, yeah?
Yes.
And
yes.
as we just celebrated his
Yeah.
lahanau ika.
Oh,
Yeah.
yes, inehine.
Inehine.
Oh, inehine.
Yeah,
Oh.
oh,
Auli
ele
lahanau.
makule, ele makule.
Ai,
ke
ai loa
Manawa.
iaie na le.
Yes, so,
Iwa kalua ko makahi paha.
yeah, oh, ai, pololoi, pololoi. Getting younger every day, right?
O ka mea nui, no, ki kaha ka manu.
Ai, mahalo.
Ki kaha ka iwa.
Ai, ki kaha ka iwa. Maluna I ka lani la.
Oh yeah.
So, you know, we thank you for all joining us here this afternoon. For those of you out there who are not here, we look forward to seeing you all here one day to perhaps join us here along the South Kohala coast here on this land of Kalahui Pua'a and here at this beautiful hotel, the Mauna Auberge. But before we go, we just want to say our mahalo nui loa, well, of course, to both of you for being here, for sharing this moment with us. And for all of you out there that are not within the camera, that are in the background, running the sound, running the videos, helping to set up. Um, we couldn't really do this without our dear friends who come in kokua and help us, and also with the mahalo nui to our great hotel and for Friends of the Future, which who has supported us over the many years as well. So many to thank out there, and we hope to continue this. We eventually will bring our Twilight at Kalahui Pua back. Give us a few months to get that set up, but I'm sure once we start, whenever that may be, I'm sure word will just get out and it will be back to the Saturdays closest to the full moon.
But until then, mahalo nui loa a hui ho kako kia kuapu.
Supu.
Ai, a hui ho kako,
Ai.
malama pono ke kino.